Have you ever felt like your own mind was turning against you? Like you're drowning in thoughts, loud, chaotic, and relentless, while the world outside remains quiet? What if I told you that the war inside your head isn't madness? It's a message. Welcome to Stoic Bridge, the bridge between ancient wisdom and modern life, guiding you through life's storms with calm and resilience. It's 2 a.m., the world sleeps, but your mind doesn't. Your heart races in the dark while silence becomes deafening. No music, no distractions, just an endless battlefield inside your skull. Thoughts come fast and furious, memories you never invited back, mistakes you thought you'd buried long ago. You replay that awkward conversation from years ago like it happened yesterday. You dissect every word of a message you should never have sent. And just when you think you can silence the chaos, it roars even louder. You whisper to yourself, "Why can't I shut it off?" But the more you try to quiet it, the more it echoes. This isn't random. This isn't weakness. This is what it means to be human in a world that never taught us how to navigate our own minds. And that raw, relentless inner storm, that brutal emotional warfare, is exactly why this video exists. Because if you're here, chances are you're tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, the kind that seeps into your soul. You're tired of pretending everything's fine when it's not, tired of smiling while your insides ache, tired of walking through life carrying invisible wounds that never earn applause. You wake up exhausted, you put on strength like a mask, you keep pushing through one step at a time, but underneath it all, it feels like you're crawling barefoot across broken glass just to survive the day, yet you keep moving. And that isn't failure, that's fire. That's the kind of quiet strength no one sees, but it's real and it's powerful. But even fire, if left untamed, can destroy everything in its path. And the truth is, no one ever taught us how to fight the most dangerous enemy, the one that hides in plain sight. We learn how to fix our phones, but not our thoughts. We curate perfect images for the world to see, while we hide our breakdowns in private. We're expected to hold it all together, even when we're falling apart inside. That silence, the one that hides pain behind smiles, is what keeps so many of us trapped in emotional quicksand. We're not broken, we're buried. And this video, this is your shovel. Listen carefully. This isn't some feel-good fluff or toxic positivity nonsense. This isn't just think happy thoughts and your life will change. No, this is war. A war against the part of you that keeps dragging you under. A war against the voice that whispers you'll never be enough. A war against the habits that numb pain instead of healing it. Because the real enemy isn't your ex, it isn't your boss, it isn't your past. It's the voice inside your head that convinces you you're powerless. And today we silence it. Stoicism doesn't tell you to suppress what you feel. It teaches you not to be ruled by it. Marcus Aurelius didn't preach indifference. He spoke of discipline, of choosing what gets to control you. Your emotions can rage, but they don't get to reign. Your past can knock, but it doesn't get to move back in. Your mind can scream, but it doesn't write the final chapter. That's control, that's power. And that's exactly what we're about to build. So don't skip this. Don't scroll past it. Don't let that old voice tell you to watch this later, because that's how it wins. It feeds on delay. It thrives on avoidance. It tricks you into postponing the very thing that could save you. Right now, you are standing at a door that only opens from the inside. You either walk through it or stay stuck watching the same pain play on repeat. The choice is yours. But if you're ready, then come with me, because I'm about to walk you through 5 core principles. No fluff, no fake smiles, just time-tested, battle-proven Stoic truths that can help you reclaim your mind, your focus, and your fire. Now, let's dive in. Imagine walking through a fog so thick you can't tell what's real anymore. That's what it's like living with a voice in your head that sounds like you, but is built entirely from pain. Number 1, silence the noise before it becomes your voice. There's a thief in your mind. He wears your voice like a stolen coat. He moves with your rhythm, breathes in your patterns, mimics your soul so closely you can't tell where he ends and you begin. But make no mistake, he's not you. He's a distorted collage of every insult that ever cut too deep, every rejection that left a scar, every silent moment where you were overlooked, abandoned, dismissed. That voice didn't grow inside you. It was planted when you were too small, too unsure, too kind to fight back. And now it echoes through your thoughts like a cursed symphony, looping lies until they feel like your identity. You're not good enough. You'll never matter. You deserve this pain. Over and over until those lies become your anthem. But let's call it what it is. Parasitic. That voice isn't your conscience. It's not your intuition. It's not your soul whispering truths. It's a hostile intruder with a master plan to make you forget who you truly are. And if you don't stop it, it will speak louder than your dreams. It will take the pen from your hand and write your life in the language of fear, regret, and silence. But there's another way. Stoicism wasn't born from comfort or crafted by philosophers in cozy armchairs sipping tea. No, it was forged in fire, pain, betrayal, exile, war. Marcus Aurelius didn't write to sound wise, he wrote to survive. When he said the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, he wasn't being poetic, he was issuing a warning. Ignore that warning and you begin to rot from the inside out. Let that voice dominate your inner world and you'll see danger where there's peace. You'll chase shadows and call it love. You'll build relationships on paranoia, not trust. Your life becomes reaction, not creation. But silence, true silence, is rebellion. Not the silence of escape, not avoidance, but violent silence. The kind that stares into the eye of your storm and says, I'm not running. You sit with it. No scrolling, no distractions, no numbing. Just you, naked, alone, facing every ghost that ever whispered in your ear. Shame will surface, regret will sting. Ghosts from your past will rise like smoke. And you don't flinch, you let them come. You let them scream. Because silence isn't retreat, it's your battlefield. And when you can sit in that fire without losing your breath or your sense of self, you take back your crown. Your mind will try to choke you right when you're about to break free. It will bring up old wounds, twist old stories, weaponize your memories. It'll say she left because you were weak. They laughed because you were worthless, that your future is nothing more than your past in disguise. But it's bluffing, because noise only wins if you treat it like truth. You don't need to shout it down. You don't need to outrun it. You outlast it. You let it punch itself tired, and then you rise. Like a king stepping over rubble, like a survivor walking through ruins. That's the moment something ancient inside you stirs. The voice that was silenced when they told you to sit down. Be polite. Be small. That voice doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't seek applause. It doesn't tremble. It commands. Steady, calm, razor sharp. It doesn't perform. It leads. It walks into chaos and calls it home. And when you reclaim that voice, you stop chasing validation like scraps from a table. You stop handing out parts of your soul just to feel accepted. You stop folding under pressure. You no longer explain your worth to people who never had the eyes to see it. That voice reminds you, I am enough. I don't owe softness to a world that gave me storms. I won't turn down my volume to comfort the weak. And no, that isn't arrogance. It's healing refined into steel. It's pain turned into armor. That's what Stoicism teaches us. Not to suppress, but to control. Not to run from the battlefield of the mind, but to master it with clarity and fire. The strongest warriors aren't loud, they aren't desperate, they are focused, calm, composed, because the loudest voices often hide the weakest convictions. So next time the noise rises, let it scream, let it roar, let it threaten, but don't flinch, don't run. Stand like a mountain as thunder crashes around you. Gaze into the storm like a lion, calm and blood-stained, unbothered. You don't need to destroy the noise, you just need to stop mistaking it for truth. Let it shriek, let it rage, let it claw at your sanity, and then walk through it like it was never there. Because when you stop reacting, when you stop trembling, when you stop believing the lie, you become something untouchable, unshakable, divine. And that is where your real story begins. Now let's move forward to the next battlefield. Have you ever watched a wildfire rip through a forest? Fast, merciless, unstoppable? That's exactly what emotions can become when you let them drive without direction. Number 2, stop letting emotions drive the steering wheel. It only takes a single snap, one glare, one burning message, one surge of anger rising up your spine like a beast awakened, and suddenly you explode. Not because you're cruel, not because you lack heart, but because you weren't truly present. You weren't grounded. You were hijacked by the storm inside you, and by the time the rage passed, you were standing in a wasteland of your own making. Smoke in your lungs, ash on your hands, and that quiet voice asking, "What just happened?" The regret, it always arrives late, but it hits harder than the anger ever did. This is the brutal cost of letting your emotions take control, with no brakes, no steering, no awareness. Love can turn to destruction in a heartbeat, when reaction replaces reflection. Peace, it dies quietly, when your mood begins to swing harder than any fist could. You think you're in control, but really you're a passenger locked in the trunk, screaming, while rage, fear, and impulse fight over the wheel. And the worst part? The moment someone figures out how to trigger you, they don't just live in your head for free. They own it. They have the title deed. They push a button, and your response becomes automatic, predictable, obedient. That's not power. That's not strength. That's emotional slavery. Epictetus warned us clearly, any person capable of angering you becomes your master. Not your rival, not your equal, your master. Let that sink in. Every time someone says something that makes you lose control, you're not responding, you're obeying. You've become a puppet with a short fuse. A man without control of himself isn't just unstable, he's dangerous. To others, but more importantly, to himself. No direction, no intention, just raw emotion masquerading as authenticity. Chaos dressed up as being real. People will provoke you just to enjoy the show. They'll poke at your wounds for entertainment, because most men are walking grenades with pins halfway out. No timing, no pause, just instant detonation. But the Stoic man, he's the bomb that never explodes. He absorbs every ounce of pressure, feels it completely, but never spills that pain onto people who didn't cause it. His strength lies not in his reaction, but in his restraint. His silence, it's not weakness, it's strategy. A silence so grounded, it makes weak men uncomfortable. Because real power doesn't have to shout. Real strength doesn't need a spotlight. Emotions are energy, raw, wild, unfiltered, like wildfire through dry grass. They can consume everything if left unchecked. Speak while you're still burning, and you'll torch the very things you once promised to protect. Friendships, trust, love, respect. Words flung in fury can't be swallowed back. Some wounds they leave don't bleed, but they scar forever. That's the truth no one teaches. The goal isn't to suppress your feelings, it's to own them so completely they don't own you. Stillness in this world of noise isn't a luxury, it's a weapon. You think walking away is weak? Try walking away from a fight your ego is begging you to enter. That's not cowardice. That's courage. That's fireproof control. It's standing in the flames and refusing to your highest self, clawing the wheel back from the beast within. So the next time the wave hits, pause. When the insult lands, pause. When disrespect rises like smoke in your lungs, pause. Breathe as if your peace depends on it, because it does. Drink water like it's a sacred ritual. Step outside like your sanity demands open air, because once you survive the surge, you remain intact. You don't become the wreckage, you remain the ruler. The strongest men still feel the earthquake, but they don't crumble. They feel the fire, but they don't burn the house down. They cry, but in silence. They suffer, but walk with dignity. That's not apathy. That's discipline, forged in chaos, sharpened through restraint. Let emotions visit, but don't let them build a home in you. They are messengers, not kings. They are storms, not architects. And if you let them shape your world, your soul becomes a battlefield where peace never stands a chance. But now that you know how to reclaim your calm, let's move forward to the next truth. How to stop feeding the very thing that's quietly destroying your peace. Picture this, you're holding a cup of poison in your hands, and every day you take a sip, just enough to numb the pain, but not enough to stop the suffering. And then you wonder why you still feel sick. Number 3, don't feed what you want to kill. You say you crave peace, yet your hands are stained with the fingerprints of your own destruction. You speak of growth, but your energy goes toward watering weeds that choke out your potential. You plead for clarity, then turn around and dive headfirst into the noise. The very distractions that numb your spirit and fog your vision. Let's be honest. You don't really want healing. You want the illusion of transformation without the sacrifice of letting go. And that, right there, is the tragedy of modern self-sabotage. You keep petting the wolves that already tore into your soul, and then act surprised when they bare their teeth again. That's not healing. That's betrayal. Not from others, from you. Wrapped up in denial, disguised as hope. Your mind isn't a trash heap, yet you treat it like one. You scroll for hours, absorbing toxic pixels, anger, gossip, false perfection, staged outrage, and then wonder why your chest feels heavy and your thoughts carry shadows. Every tap, every scroll, every reel is a doorway. And behind some of those doors, something sacred within you quietly dies. Not all poison is fast. Some poisons kill slowly, numbing your edges, dulling your soul, until you forget what real aliveness even feels like. You're feeding a beast, not because it's strong, but because you refuse to starve it. You want real power? Then cut the cord. Block the number that always drags you back. Leave the group chat that gossips like it's scripture. Don't just mute the noise, banish it. Delete the content that doesn't sharpen you. Stop following people who profit from your distraction. You're not being soft when you do this. You're being sovereign. Every time you say no to garbage disguised as entertainment, you reclaim a piece of your throne. This isn't self-help, it's war, spiritual war. You're either sharpening your sword or letting it rust beyond recognition. Marcus Aurelius didn't speak from comfort. He whispered truths forged in the heat of chaos. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. So ask yourself, what are you soaking in? You can't spend your days marinating in drama, doom scrolling your way into despair, and then beg the universe for peace. It doesn't work that way. You are becoming what you consume, and your spirit, it's a mirror. But lately, that reflection has cracked. Not because you're broken, but because you've been pressing your soul against things that were never meant to hold your truth. You can't carry poison in your pocket and pray for purity. You can't slow dance with destruction and hope it forgets your name. Every time you entertain the toxic, the hollow, the old version of yourself, you breathe life back into the very thing that once left you crying for help. And the worst part, you do it without flinching. This isn't just about self-discipline, it's deeper than that. It's about survival. Because if you don't stop feeding the thing that's draining you, it will devour everything. Your clarity, your focus, your fire. It won't stop until there's nothing left. And it won't leave on its own. You have to starve it. You have to spit it out. You have to choke on the comfort you've mistaken for safety and finally scream, enough. You already know what's rotting your peace. You've known for a long time, but instead of facing it, you've been dressing it up in excuses. Your soul is starving, not for more noise, not for more numbness, but for stillness, for purity, for truth that doesn't vibrate with every notification. So either you give it that, or you lose it. Now let's move forward and face the next battle, letting go of what you were never meant to control in the first place. Have you ever tried to hold water in your hands, tightening your grip, hoping it stays, only to watch it slip through your fingers faster the harder you squeeze? That's what it feels like when you try to control what was never yours to command. Number 4, detach from what you can't control or be controlled by it. You're clutching ghosts, gripping the past with white knuckles, screaming at doors that slammed shut years ago, as if your voice could somehow reverse time. You pour your energy into dead ends, bleeding your peace into problems that don't belong to you, hoping that maybe, just maybe, the universe will bend if you push hard enough. And what do you get for all that effort? A cracked mind, a hollow chest, and a soul that hasn't known rest in far too long. You call it hope, but it's really self-torture wrapped in pretty fantasy. You call it love, but it's addiction to approval wearing a smile. You call it ambition, but it's obsession with outcomes that constantly slap you back down. Every moment you spend trying to control the uncontrollable, you lose pieces of yourself to a storm that doesn't even know your name. You try to rescue people who are addicted to their own chaos. You argue with the past, like it might finally apologize if you just hit rewind one more time. You refresh your phone like salvation lives inside a notification. You crave control so desperately, you'd rather drown in anxiety than admit the brutal truth. You never had control in the first place. Epictetus said it clearly, some things are up to us and some are not. But your ego, it doesn't want that wisdom. It wants outcomes, guarantees, closure on demand. So you grip harder, you push further, you get louder until you're worn out from trying to lasso lightning with bare hands. But here's a different question. What if real power isn't in controlling things? What if the greatest strength lies in letting go before it burns you alive? Letting go isn't weakness, it's warfare. It's not passive, it's primal. It's screaming into your pillow instead of sending that text. It's deleting the app instead of stalking someone's highlight reel. It's walking away from conversations that taste like poison and reek of the past. And when you finally detach from what you can't change, you don't become fragile. You become untouchable. You stop squeezing yourself into rooms you've outgrown. You stop begging for closure from people who benefit from your confusion. You stop waiting for life to hand you peace, and instead you build it, brick by blood-stained brick. You don't control the storm, but you decide whether to collapse in it or walk straight through with your spine unshaken. You don't control their opinions, but you choose whether to give them permanent residence in your mind. You don't control the future, but you control your posture, your presence, your purpose. So when your thoughts begin to spiral, don't reach for distractions. Reach for the only weapon that works, detachment, not numbness, not apathy. Razor-sharp detachment, the kind that cuts cords, breaks generational cycles, and frees you from every parasite draining your mental strength. Say it like a battle cry, not mine to carry, not mine to fix, not mine to bleed for. And when you say it, mean it. Because the moment you stop chasing control is the moment you stop being its prisoner. You don't just escape the storm, you become the eye of it. And now it's time to move forward and train your mind like a warrior, not a wanderer. Have you ever tried to navigate a battlefield blindfolded? No strategy, no armor, just hope? That's how most people move through life, hoping things fall into place while their minds wander in chaos, untrained and undefended. Number 5, train your mind like a warrior, not a wanderer. You don't wake up one morning and decide to be a warrior. You become one by clawing your way out of the fog, dragging your mind back from the edge, and turning chaos into clarity. It's not clean, it's not poetic, it's war. Because life isn't a gentle invitation. It's a brutal hurricane, hurling knives, throwing distractions, testing your resolve at every turn. And every second your mind drifts like a stray bullet, lost in fear, scattered by noise, you are bleeding power you may never reclaim. The world doesn't care if you wander aimlessly. And honestly, neither should you. It's time to forge your mind into something fierce, focused, and indestructible. Not delicate, not reactive, warrior grade. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his wisdom from a place of peace. He carved it from fire. His words weren't designed to decorate. They were weapons, sharpened in the crucible of personal war. You have power over your mind, not outside events. That's not philosophy. That's a thunderclap, a hard reset. For anyone still pretending the external world holds the keys to inner peace. Because your true empire, the one that cannot be touched, is inside your skull. If your mind becomes a crumbling fortress, everything else collapses with it. Fast, loud, violent. Every thought you think is a soldier. Each one sharpens your edge or dulls your blade. Every belief you choose to entertain either raises your flag or waves one in surrender. Most people wait until their soul is shattered before they decide to fight back. Not you. The true warrior prepares before the storm. He builds armor out of silence, draws strength from solitude, and forges discipline into weapons no enemy can match. He doesn't train when the battle begins. He trains when no one's watching. This is where legends are made, in the invisible hours. When you write raw truth in your journal while the world still sleeps. When you put down your phone and stare straight into your thoughts, refusing to blink. When you feel discomfort rising and choose to stand your ground instead of running. Every one of those small moments is a victory, a brick in the fortress, a sharpening of the sword. Mental control isn't some pristine state of perfection. It's blood in your teeth, fire in your veins. It's dragging your cowardly thoughts back into the arena and saying, we don't run anymore. Ignore this. And your mind will become a puppet, dancing for likes, approval, validation that never fills you. You'll chase shadows, you'll bow to hollow voices, and one day, you'll look in the mirror and realize the war was lost while you were scrolling. Train like a beast forged in stillness, a demon carved in silence and solitude. Shape your mind into a fortress, lightning in its thoughts, stone in its foundation. Sharpen it with brutal, unfiltered truth. Arm it with reason that doesn't waver. Cleanse it with stillness so deep that even chaos can't find a foothold. Because when the storm finally hits, when the world demands your surrender, your mind won't flinch, it won't fold, it won't flee, it will roar. Because this mind, it was built for war, and now your real training begins. The world, it's not a gentle place. It's a ravenous beast, clawing at the edges of your thoughts with madness on its fingertips. It lures you with noise so loud your spirit can't breathe. It howls with distraction, demands your focus, and tries to drag your soul into its chaos. But you are not prey. You are a stoic warrior built not to bend, not to break. Real power isn't about dominating the world outside, it's about commanding the world within. That savage grip over your inner battlefield, that's the weapon, that's the fortress. Your thoughts, sharp and raw, no longer scatter, they cut. Your emotions, wild as fire, don't consume, they obey. Your focus slices through distraction like a blade through fog. Your response, unshakable, cold, precise. This is your edge, not noise, not chaos, but clarity, scorching, purifying clarity. Let the madness outside scream, let the world spin. You are the storm's eye, silent, calm, and dangerously still. Your mind is no longer a prison, it's a throne, forged in both hellfire and ice, and every moment you get to choose, victim or victor, prisoner or king, broken or untouchable. The world will try to drag you down, but you were never meant to crawl. You were born to rise, razor sharp, relentless, sovereign, because the war is within and the victory is already yours. So if this struck something deep in you, if it awakened a fire you forgot you had, hit that like button with purpose. Drop your affirmation in the comments like a war cry. Share this with someone who's quietly fighting battles they can't explain. And subscribe. Join a movement of minds sharpened by chaos, grounded in silence, and unshaken by storms. Let the world tremble at your calm. Let your discipline speak louder than their noise. Your mind is your empire. Rule it, like a god who never bows to the dark.